Welcome to episode 7 of the MTGDeckTechs podcast. Hey everyone, this is James, one of your MTG Deck Techs. I'm joined today with Jason. How's it going, Jason?
Hey everybody, I'm doing pretty good. How are you today?
All right, we all hope that you're doing wonderful out there and that you guys have been experiencing all the awesome stuff that's been going on in the MTG community. There's been a lot of good stuff. But before we get into the topics that we're looking to discuss this week, don't forget that if you are in the market for any type of dice bags or play mats, anything like that, make sure you go ahead and check out inkedgaming.com. And at checkout, you can type in the promo code TECHS10, TECHS10 for 10% off at discount, and it'll help support the show. If you'd like to support the show directly, you can also check us out on our Patreon link, which is patreon.com/themtgdecktechs. And make sure that if you haven't checked out our articles or our YouTube channel or our Twitch stream, you can always do that and get the links in the show notes. All right, so the topics for this week, we're going to be talking about the MTG bracket. We had the winner of that 2-year-long project announced last Wednesday. We are also going to talk a little bit about the Ultimate Box Topper promos, which you may have been seeing some spoilers online. We're also going to talk a little bit about Arena, some of the changes that we are hoping to expect this month, and then some of the upcoming events that you can look forward to this week and this upcoming weekend. And then we'll close out the show with our community spotlight and our triple strike questions, which you have come to expect every single week. So, Jason, the MTG bracket has been going on for 2 full years. And are you aware of what the last card was, what the final winner was of all the Magic the Gathering cards?
Yeah, so the MTG bracket has finally ended, and Lightning Bolt won the bracket, and that breaks my heart as a huge Birds of Paradise fan. But honestly, I saw it coming. Lightning Bolt is a lot more used than Birds of Paradise throughout the Magic history, and you have the phrase "bolt the bird" and everything. So it's kind of fitting that Lightning Bolt won, but still, as Birds of Paradise is my favorite card ever, it just really hurts me. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping for Lightning Bolt, and it did win. It actually won by a pretty large margin. It won, looking on the MTG bracket Tumblr website, that it won with 69.4% of the entire vote. So, and I guess there were a lot of people that were following this. There was over 13,000 votes cast in this final match. So it's pretty interesting to see that this 2-year project came to a conclusion and Lightning Bolt won. And honestly, I think Lightning Bolt's a really good card. Out of all of Magic history, I think Lightning Bolt is very traditional, symbolic of the game, and I mean, it's still powerful and played across, all the Eternal formats where it's still legal. And I mean, it's just like the definition of an efficient burn spell. It's like the standard which sets all other burn spells. So I thought it was pretty interesting. I wouldn't have been mad if Birds of Paradise had won either. Birds of Paradise, super strong card, super fun to play with, and also very iconic. So yeah, that's all I pretty much have to say about it. I don't know if you were too surprised. You said you kind of expected it, but
Yeah, like I was really expecting it just because of how popular Lightning Bolt is. I mean, if you look at it right now, Lightning Bolt hasn't been printed in Standard since M10, and Birds of Paradise has been printed, a good bit throughout the history of Magic, and they both have, honestly. But Lightning Bolt in Standard will never happen again. We thought of that with Birds of Paradise, but look, we got Llanowar Elves in Dominaria, so Lightning Bolt, everybody wants to see it. We're not super happy with Lightning Strike. I mean, it's great that Lightning Strike is in Standard right now, but we all truly want Lightning Bolt in the format, right? Lightning Bolt has been a Standard All-Star. It's been a Modern All-Star. It still is. It's played in just about every single format. and it's definitely the most popular card ever. I would say.
Yep. And looking at some of the stats, what Lightning Bolt had to go through to win was okay. So on the Tumblr website, and if you want to check this out yourself, it's at mtgbracket.tumblr, spelled TUMBLR.com. And so the bracket took 2 years to go, and the stats that I'm reading right now is when they started it, they just had all the cards that were printed back in 2016 when they started this, which was 16,343 cards, and they paired them each up, and through over the course of 590 surveys and 16,291,069 votes is what it took to get Lightning Bolt from the beginning to here. So very cool project. I think it's really cool that they did this, and I'm wondering if they're going to start another one. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this. Pretty cool task that they took on for themselves. All right, so moving up next, you may have noticed it online, a bunch of spoilers of these super awesome modern and legacy reprints that you've been seeing all over the place, and they've been commonly known the ultimate box topper promos. Jason, what do you know about these?
All right, so these just so happened to come in people's mailboxes. As everybody knows, the Ravnica Mythic Edition, I think it was called, the Guilds of Ravnica Mythic Edition, where you could order it on the Hasbro site. It had an MSRP of like $200, which you got 24 packs of cards, and you also got all of the premium planeswalkers that came with it. There was this just giant debacle on the Hasbro site. They were given the information that it was to open a day early, and others said it was to open like. They said it was supposed to open on October 3rd, but it wasn't actually supposed to be till October 4th. So that was a big miscommunication. Also, whenever people went to buy the Mythic Edition itself, people were being charged like 2 or 3 times, or they didn't get charged at all, and they said they got a confirmation, but they weren't charged, so they didn't know if they were getting the box or not. But it was overall just a huge debacle on the Hasbro site. And it was just a totally bad experience for a lot of people. And, the Wizards took the feedback that people gave them, and they came out with these letters that they sent to people. Basically saying, hey, sorry, you had a rough time with the Hasbro site getting these Mythic Edition boxes. But hey, check out this card. And they got a card. And it's supposedly from this new set, this premium set coming out that has 40 cards in total in it, of a whole bunch of like really sought after cards in the premium setting, kind of like the Planeswalkers. They're borderless and they're foiled. I hope that the foiling is not like the from the Vault foiling, because that foiling's terrible. But we'll see. I don't know exactly how the foiling is. But there's 40 cards, and a lot of the cards just look fantastic. I don't know if you've seen any of them, but like Bitter Blossom is probably my favorite art. So if you haven't had a chance to look at these, you definitely need to. But there's not a whole lot that I know as of yet. There's not a lot been announced other than the fact that these people got these cards, and almost all 40 of them have been kind of spoiled at this point. But tomorrow, November 5th, on Magic's Twitch channel, they're going to be talking about the details that surround this thing. So what do you think of them, James?
So I think they're awesome. When I saw them initially starting to get spoiled, across the different social networks, I kind of thought they were like a joke, or I thought maybe this was some sort of old promo that I'd never heard of, and they were just getting pulled up out of nowhere. But first, I thought it was really cool that Wizard of the Coast actually tried to make some sort of amends with a lot of the people that had rough times getting their Mythic Planewalker set from the Hasbro store. And you might have seen them online, but they were sent with like a single card and that apology letter. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then also the cards that they chose for this, you can find a lot of them. A lot of them have been spoiled. I think all but 3 have been spoiled at this point. But at the time that you're listening to this, there's going to be that announcement that Jason just talked about, and you'll probably hear about all of them. But every single card that has been spoiled is awesome. I mean, we have a Noble Hierarch reprint, we have Liliana Veil, Snapcaster Mage, we have Reanimate, like you said, Bitter Blossom. tons of great cards. So I'm just really excited, and I hope that these are packs that we can get, easily. I hope that this set isn't sold just like the Mythic edition from Ravnica, and that it's not difficult to get boosters of these, or maybe just buy the whole set, or I hope it's not difficult. And I also hope that it's not, here's a set with 5 random, and make sure that you also get 24 random packs as well, because that's just going to shoot up the price and make it less accessible for everyone. So I'm also curious to see what it'll do to the prices of some of the originals of these cards, and see how the financial aspect goes, because almost every single one of these cards is a high price reprint. So I'm curious to see how they impact, and I'm looking forward to the announcement from Wizards.
So I think as far as how they're going to be distributed, I'm going to make the guess that they're going to be kind of like the Mythic edition, and I'm not totally cool with that. I kind of want to see these spread out to people that couldn't necessarily get the Mythic edition. Like I don't like that business model that they have with the Mythic edition. I know that it's a collector thing, but like I'd really like to have these, and I'm not going out and spending $200 on a Mythic edition like the Guilds of Ravnica one. I don't know, but as far as the financial aspect of these reprints goes, depending on how like widespread they are, they're not going to really impact the price, the secondary market price of the cards that they're reprinting, just because they're like a super premium card and they're like foiled and everything. It's not going to really impact it's not going to bring the secondary market value of these cards that are reprinting down. Like Through the Breach and Goryo's Vengeance are in them, but you're not going to see them take a nosedive as far as value goes. So they're not great for really curbing the second market.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. And I really hope that it's not distributed that way either. I'm trying to think of better ways to distribute them, but aside from just having them incorporated into a Masters set with more than 40 cards, I really can't think of a decent way. I think really, in regards to just getting reprints, I think that'd be the best way, but because, kind of how you brought up that these are just premium, completely foiled, full art, borderless cards, yeah, it's probably going to end up being a specialty overpriced Mythic type product. But no matter how they sell them, they're really cool looking, and they're all really cool cards. So I look forward to maybe getting my hands on them. We'll see how much they end up costing. But definitely an interesting idea of a product. And I think, again, cool that they used them as compensation a little bit for the people that had a difficulty getting their product before. So do you have anything else on these?
No, I think we covered them all, and we'll see tomorrow exactly how everything's going to go about. And I'm sure you guys will all know before you hear this. So that's it.
Yeah, that's true. All right, well then, moving on. I think the next thing we want to talk about is Arena and some of the things that we're kind of hoping for coming out this month that we've heard, and some of the other things that are in the works for Arena. So, are you aware of any changes that are coming up, Jason?
Yeah. So with Arena, there are things that are coming, and it's pretty cool. So they're gonna have a friend mode where you can play with your friends, and that's something that we've wanted for a long time. So you can just get people's I don't know, their usernames or whatever. And if they're online, you can just boot it up and play them and test with them. Something that we have on MTGO, but we don't have on Arena yet. So that's gonna be a very welcome thing. Also, They had come out and said something that they understand that the vault issue is something that we're concerned about, but that's low on their priority list. I don't know if you guys know about the 5th copy issue. That I'm sure you do, because a lot of people are talking about it. But whenever you get a 5th copy of a card in Arena, it gives you a percentage towards the vault, which if you get 100% in that category, you get to open the vault, which has a single mythic wild card, 2 rare wild cards, and 3 uncommon wild cards. I've actually opened one. It was cool to open, but overall, the way that they implement it is it's it's garbage. And like I love Arena, and Arena is so great, but this is one thing that they really need to work on, because with a mythic, with a fifth copy of a mythic, you get 1.1% towards the vault. With a rare, you get 0.55%. With an uncommon, you get 0.33%, and with a common, you get 0.11%. So it takes a lot to actually get the vault. So I think they really need to fix that, and that's something that should be done sooner rather than later.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it's been brought up before too. I mean, with the fifth card problem and this vault problem, it's really affecting the people that have, dumping tons of money into the game. I don't think there's too many people that are out there doing that right now, because through the grind, you can pretty much get that one deck that works really well, and you can still be competitive. But the people that are dropping cash and opening up several of the same mythic and only getting a little bit of return, those are the people that are really being affected by the lack of a solution. So I don't really know. I mean, really the best way is just some sort of dusting mechanism, kind of like in the other digital card games. But I don't know exactly how that would look, if it'd be based off rarity or actually based off of the meta and how used the cards are, or how they'd go about it. Probably just by rarity. But we'll have to see what solution they come up with. I'm really excited for the friends aspect. That was something I was hoping for even since the closed beta, was the opportunity to actually play with other people. And I think once that happens, you're going to be seeing a lot more improved content creation too, because then you can actually have, different streamers playing other streamers and having, like, you can see both hands and different things like that. So I would expect once the friends aspect is incorporated into the game, that we'll be seeing a lot more arena content to include leagues, different organized play type things. And hopefully we can even incorporate some of that into MTGDeckTechs. And so, I mean, listeners, if you want to be interested on that, just go ahead and hit us up in our social media networks or our email that we'll provide at the end of the episode, and we'll see if we can try to get you guys worked into it. But I know that that's something that we would like to do once the Friends thing actually becomes active on Arena.
So something that I forgot to mention too, as far as the vault goes, they said that they are going to fix it. It just wasn't super high on their priority list, but I think with a lot of people voicing their concern, it's going up. They are going to retroactively fix the issues with people that have been putting a lot of money into it. So there shouldn't be any concern. You can throw whatever money you want at it. They're going to fix it whenever they get the fix, and they're going to back pay you basically for everything that you've thrown in. So they got us there. I think it's safe to, if you want to throw thousands of dollars into it, go ahead and do it. I don't think you have to worry about it. But yeah, I'm super excited for Friends, and I really think that we can do some cool things with MTGDeckTechs, especially here in the future whenever I start streaming Arena.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. I definitely want to get some internal gauntlets and leagues and stuff like that going once Arena can have Friends. Also with Arena, I don't know, I didn't even know the vault was still going, to be completely honest. When I keep playing, I always get there's like the Mythic card and like the Uncommon card and a wheel around it that slowly fills up. Is that like the new version of the vault? Because I thought it went away.
No,
or is it just hidden?
The vault is hidden right now. So like in the in the closed beta, it had, I guess it showed you the vault and how close you were to it.
Yeah, it had a little treasure chest. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's hidden now. You can only see it whenever you hit 100%. I think that if you hit 100% and it shows, it will start showing your progression to the next vault. But you can't see it unless you actually hit 100%.
Wow, I guess I haven't hit the vault in a long time then. All right. Also, did you try out any of the specialty events that were going on with like Gabby Sparts and Day 9? They had like their own little versions. I didn't get a chance to try those out. I don't know if you did.
Yes, I did actually. So I didn't play the draft because I didn't have enough gems, and that fell on a non-payday week, so I didn't get a chance to draft. However, I did play the Instaban. Day 9's Instaban. That was pretty cool. I played a mono green deck. Well, I just basically tuned my mono green deck. I took out my Prey Pawns, and I just put in some Rabid Bites. for my removal, and I did pretty well. I didn't get to 5 wins in that or whatever, but like it was still fun to play. And actually,
What was the premise of his?
every you could only play. It was instants were banned, so you could only play sorceries
Okay.
and like um you can play, effects that you can do on your opponent's turn, like with activated abilities, but you couldn't play any instants. So that was their thing, and it was really cool. And I heard that Merfolk was really good in that, and I actually played against Merfolk, and they that deck destroyed me. But actually today I played the Pauper, the standard Pauper event twice with a Bant hexproof list that I guess shoot Kendra Kendra, why can't I think of her name? Maverick Gal, Kendra Smith, I believe. I don't know why. I'm just totally butchering that. Like I met her, she's cool. But anyway, Maverick Girl is what I see her as on Twitter and everything. But she helped. She I guess helped Evan Irwin build this Bant hexproof deck, and it crushed. Like it was great. I went 5-1 in my first league, and then I went 5-0 in my second league. So the deck was sick, and actually I posted up on Twitter. I retweeted Evan Irwin's tweet, and I posted up on my Twitter. So you won't have a chance to play it, but the deck was fun.
That sounds fun. Yeah, I usually don't do any of the specialty events, but I have thought about doing when the day 9 1 and the Gabby Sparks ones were up. I was thinking about doing those, and then Popper always looks fun, but I don't know. I just sit there and grind the standard pretty much the whole time. That's all I ever do on it until the daily quests are gone, and then I go on the next day. All right, so I think that pretty much covers Arena. I'm super excited for Friends, so keep an eye out for what MTGDeckTechs does with that. We got some plans in the works. And then, all right, so upcoming events. So this weekend we just had GP Atlanta. Did you get a chance to watch it at all?
No, actually, I didn't get a chance to watch any coverage. Like I have to watch Twitch on my computer now because my phone is all weird. But I didn't get a chance to watch anything. I had some things going on yesterday and today. I was just jamming a whole bunch of Arena on my computer. So I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I did get I did get the top 8 breakdown and everything.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool event. That's actually near my neck of the woods, so I was there Saturday. So if you're listening to this and you were in there this weekend, we probably walked by each other. I was just playing modern side events, so if you're doing that, maybe we even played against each other. But then Sunday, the day 2, I actually was at home and I was just watching some coverage, and it was a lot of fun. There was wide diversity of decks, especially in the top 8. I don't think there was a single matched deck, and Bant Spirits ended up taking the whole thing, and that was pretty cool to see. I'm not sure. So I know going into the weekend there was a lot of discussion as to whether or not there would be a lot of Arclight Phoenixes and a lot of dredge decks, and a lot of people were discussing incorporating a ton of graveyard hate into their decks. I don't know. I think when I was there, I was talking around to people, and it was a little overhyped. I don't think there was as much dredge and graveyard type decks as people were expecting, but there was some. But a lot of the people I talked to never even ended up playing dredge. But of course, a lot of those same people didn't make it to day 2, and I know that dredge made it pretty close to the top 8, if not one of them in the top 8. But do you have anything to say about the GP? You said you only kind of tracked the top 8 decks.
Yeah, so the top 8 decks, there was one deck that was represented twice, and that was KCI. But the first seed was Martin Zuza with Hollow One. Then we had Bant Spirits, Hardened Scales, Infect, KCI, Bridgevine, Tron, and KCI. And of course, Bant Spirits took it, and I was pretty excited to see that. But I wrote about Bant Spirits whenever the new Supreme Phantom was printed in M19. So it's nice to see Bant Spirits take it, and I really don't like KCI at all, or Tron. So it's nice to see those decks not get the trophy.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I thought it was pretty cool to watch Spirits win. And then this weekend we didn't have any SCG events. That was pretty much this weekend. So it was pretty fun to get off standard just a little bit and watch some modern in the GP scene. And then coming up, we have this Thursday, I believe, November 8th, we have the Player of the Year playoffs. Have you heard much about that?
Well, basically, it's Seth Manfield and Luis Savato playing for the Player of the Year, and they're going to do some really cool, like this really cool playoff thing that you just told me about, and it's really weird, but I think it's really cool.
Yeah, so I think it's going down at 3 p.m. on Thursday. They're trying to knock it out before the Pro Tour, which is this upcoming weekend. And what the deal is they're each bringing 4 separate standard decks. And the standard decks need to be different enough to the point where they don't have any more than 8 cards, non-land cards, overlapping between the decks. And essentially what they're going to do is once they show up, then they're going to get each other's deck lists, and they're going to be able to kind of see what they're going up against. And then they'll each pick a deck, and they'll play, and once they win with a deck, they can no longer play with that deck, and they're best of 1 matches. And in order to win the playoff, you have to win with each of your 4 decks. So I am really curious to see what happens. What I hope doesn't happen is I hope that one of them doesn't just bring a deck and win with that same deck 4 times. I really hope that it kind of battles back and forth and decks get eliminated and we work all the way through to the maximum 7 games available. What kind of decks are you expecting them to bring, do you think? Especially since they can't have the overlap. Like, what do you kind of think that the field's going to look like on Thursday?
So I don't know who's gonna play what, but we're gonna see a green black deck. The Planeswalker dominated green black decks with Vivians and the Vraskas and stuff. We're gonna see that deck. I'm sure we're gonna see a mono red deck with Risk Factor or Experimental Frenzy and Steamkins. Also, we're gonna see some kind of control, more than likely Jeskai control. And we're going to see a blue-red Arclight Phoenix Drake-ish deck. I don't know how heavy they're going to splash on the Drakes because I don't want to go super heavy into Drakes anymore because like they kind of bog it down. But we're going to see that like kind of tempo deck. We also might see the mono blue tempo deck, which is really good. Also a deck that I don't know, it just might be me playing it, and I've had some great success with it, and I almost took it to a PPTQ today before it was canceled at the last minute. The Punisher burn deck, the black red burn deck, it's phenomenal. It's a very good meta call at the moment. I know that Jim Davis was streaming it recently. He posted on YouTube, so it's gonna get some seen a little bit more than just on MTG Goldfish. But I think that deck could show up there and do some damage.
Yeah, I'd love to see some kind of like fringe decks like that. Some of the the Rakdos kind of deck that you were talking about that's making its way up. There's also another deck like the Lich's Mastery deck. There's been some success with that on YouTube and different people playing with it. I don't really expect it. I think the decks that you kind of mentioned are most likely. So like if I were to go, it would probably be like mono red, like a Steamkin type deck, mono blue, and then probably like Selesnya tokens, and then the Golgari. Because I think between all of those, you're not overlapping anything. Maybe with the Golgari, Selesnya, but really those 2 different greens are trying to do different stuff. So I'm really excited to see what happens, and I'm curious how they're going to enforce the later rounds of the matches. So I know like they show up and they both play, but I wonder if that person's going to keep that winning deck, like that deck stays until it's beaten, or if you get to switch again. Because otherwise, like, one player is going to be able to know what they're going up against, and then they can change to the favored matchup. But anyway, I guess we'll have to see about that. Do you have any predictions on who's going to win?
My guess is Seth Manfield. He's great. He's the best player in the world in my opinion. I think that Seth is gonna take it. I don't know why. I'm just butchering names today. I apologize.
Oh, you're good.
but yeah, I think Seth's gonna take it. And the cool thing about this standard format is there are so many like decent decks, like good decks that you can play and bring. So like I don't know if it's gonna be like streamed I hope it is, because I really want to watch it and see what kind of standard decks they bring to it, just to see exactly what they're doing. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, it's gonna be streamed. It's gonna be on the WotC Twitch channel at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or Eastern Time. Yeah, I think Seth is gonna win too. I just have a hunch, but we'll see what happens, and I'm super excited to look into it and watch. And then after that event on Wednesday, we go into the Pro Tour this weekend, which is also in Atlanta. So a lot of the pros that were here for this GP are just going to be staying this week and probably watching this Player of the Year playoff while they're here and then going into the PT this weekend. So if you're in Georgia, that's where most of the big Magic pros are at right now. For the Pro Tour, it's going to be the standard and draft Guilds of Ravnica. I don't really have much to say about the Pro Tour. Do you have anything?
Yeah, I don't. There's not a whole lot to say about it. Of course, we're gonna see, Golgari probably gonna be the most played with some Jeskai control in the blue-red decks probably, and rounded out with like the red decks. But other than that, like I don't think that this format is so diverse at the moment, and like. Usually by the Pro Tour, it's pretty much established what the best decks are, and like the Pro Tour just like, okay, this is it. Like this is where we're at, and this is what you need to be playing. But I don't even think the Pro Tour is going to nail down the format truthfully, just because there's the power level of the format is so great, and it's so nice to see, and I'm so excited for this Pro Tour and check it out, and hopefully we're going to see a very like highly diverse top 8.
Yeah, I hope so too. I'm hoping to see some of the extra spice that maybe they've been holding out on, or any of the new stuff. I kind of want to see a deck just spike its way to the top that we haven't really been seeing. But other than that, I'm kind of expecting to see a lot of the control decks that really showed a lot of success in last weekend's GPs. But we'll see. It'll also be awesome if just a mono blue tempo takes the whole thing. That'd be pretty awesome. A $50 deck takes down the PT. And then, is SCG doing anything this weekend?
Yeah, SCG is going to have the regionals, their regional tournaments this weekend. So if you're in the market to go play in those, check out where your most local center is to play in the regionals. They have a list of everything on StarCityGames.com. I think at the regionals you can go to those and qualify for the invitational, I believe. So if you're in the market to go play in one of those events, go check it out.
Awesome. Good stuff. And that pretty much covers this episode. So I do. Who do we have for the community spotlight this week?
So for this week's community spotlight, I want to take a quick look spotlight on Fishin' a Merfolk podcast. So Fishin' a Merfolk podcast do, as you guess, Merfolk. It's a Merfolk podcast, and they do a lot of things that are Merfolk related. I know that Cody streams Friday nights, I believe, and they got a YouTube channel, Fishin' a Merfolk podcast, on their YouTube channel, that they have a bunch of different things that they do Merfolk related, and like they're not like Cody's not super set on just Merfolk, but a lot of their stuff is Merfolk related stuff. So definitely give them a look into, especially if you're a Merfolk fan. If you like fish, go check them out, and if you don't like fish, go check them out because they're just great people.
All right. Great community spotlight. And then we'll end this episode with our Triple Strike questions. So we'll give you the answers to last week's Triple Strike trivia questions, and then we'll go into this week's. So last week's Triple Strike questions were, so the first strike question was, what does EDH stand for? And it stands for Elder Dragon Highlander. That's the name other than Commander. And then our double strike question was, when did Modern become an official format as we know it? And the answer to that is, in May 2011, it went live on MTGO, but then in August 12th, 2011, that's when the Modern format became an official format. And then the last strike question was, which Circle of Protection wasn't printed in Alpha? And Circle Protection Black was not printed in Alpha. All right, so this week's triple strike questions are, your first strike question is, what is the mana cost for the card called Lord of Atlantis? Your double strike question is, who has the most Pro Tour top 8s? Your last strike question is, in the modern deck known as 8-Rack, what is the other card that works similar to the rack called? So you have 4 copies of the rack and you have 4 copies of another card. What's that other card's name? And those are your triple strike questions of the week. So feel free to go ahead and share those on Twitter or Facebook with hashtag MTGDeckTechs and the answers. Make sure to help us get our name out there and rate and share our podcast on whatever podcast listening platform you are on. And if you'd like to get a hold of myself or Jason and ask any questions that you'd like answered on the air of this podcast, you can hit us up at mtgdeckTechspodcast@gmail.com, or you can reach me directly on Twitter at JamesRMTG. And how can they get a hold of you, Jason?
You can get a hold of me on Twitter at T2TKS or also on Twitter at MTGDeckTechs.
Perfect. And that's all we've got. And we hope to, we'll talk to you next week. All right, bye.
Have fun, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. It helps out a lot. Also, don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with all of our uploads. You can follow us on these platforms here at MTGDeckTechs. And finally, a big shout out to Terry Ledford for his generous Patreon donation. If you would like to become a patron for MTGDeckTechs, please click the link down below. It is not necessary, but it helps us out quite a bit. Thank you for watching the video, and we will see you all again soon.